Well, here's number 2. A little rougher shape. Tires, I don't know what's up with that. It's like a 10-inch rim or something. Half a tractor tire. Score. Battery and some tools in there. It's like an OEM pipe. Someone definitely gutted it. It's like an aftermarket head pipe. Definitely looks a little bit rougher. I'm not sure if this one's gonna go or not. Let's throw a battery in it. Oops. Alright, let's see if we have any spark. Oh yeah, good spark. Alright, let's see what we got for compression. Alright, here we go. Turn the key on. Bouncing off of 80 psi, so let's hope it's the same problem. Here we go, same thing as last time. 0.10. That's as tight as you can go on the intake according to spec, which is 0.10 millimeter or 0.004 inches. See if it'll go. Maybe. No. No. Will not go. Alright, let's try something a little thinner. See if we can get a reference point. There's a 0.05 millimeter, which would be way out of spec if it does fit, but there's something to go by. Nope. So again, way too tight. You're gonna have to start at 0 and probably do it twice. Let's check the exhaust side, see where we're at on that. That should be 0.20 millimeter to 0.30. So let's go right to 0.20. Start on the tight side and see where we're at. Well, that fits. It's dragging just a little bit. Same thing over there. It fits. It's dragging just a little bit. Let's see. I mean, it's not too tight. I'm gonna say that's within spec, but we're still gonna change it because I like them to be a little bit looser than that. Let's go to 0.23 millimeter. Nope. Alright, 0.23 doesn't fit. So let's call that 0.21. I don't know how they got that one so tight without stripping it. I had to use a chisel and a hammer to beat it somewhat loose. Then I had to beat this thing down inside of it just to get it out. It broke loose. I don't know how they got it that tight without stripping it, but I just spoke too soon too, I don't know. What is the deal here? Wow. I mean, wow. Alright, this is 2.60, goes over here. Alright, that will spring back. And then the left side intake is a 2.65. There's 2.65. Check these. Ooh. Springs up. Look at that one. Alright. Alright, we're all shimmed up. Back in time, ready to go. Let's see what we got. Uh, 115. So there you go. I'm gonna put a little gas down that cylinder and see if she'll pop off. Surprise! Well, I got it all back together. Got it shimmed up. Got compression. Checked spark again before I dumped fuel down the cylinder to see if it would run, and no spark. Well, when I was putting this cover on, this is where you actually put the 17mm in and rotate this to get your timing mark. I noticed a little teeny, like this right here. I don't know if you can see that. See that little tiny piece laying down in there? It's also a broken bolt, but see that? One of those was laying right on the threads, right at the bottom of this. So I thought that was odd, because I didn't notice it until I was actually putting the cap back on. So I said, that's strange. Well, now that it had no spark, I figured, well, I wonder if that stator's broke or coming apart. I mean, it's the only thing that would be copper in there. So sure enough, looks like the bolts came loose. This one came out. Ended up breaking, tearing some stuff up in there. I mean, looks pretty good other than this. This is pretty tore up around the outside here. The stator itself, but it was sparking. Right? It moves. I'm actually going to clean this all up, put some new bolts in it, put it back on, see if it'll spark. And if it does, and it runs, then I'll just swap that out from the Suzuki, because it's got oil in it and it was leaking no oil. So knock on wood, it should be in good shape other than that. But if it was sparking before, you'd think it would spark again, even though it's tore up. But we'll see. If not, I'll switch it out. It's worth a shot. And of course, you got that in there. That came out of there. Broke off. So I'll get it cleaned up and we'll see what it does. Alright, I was able to clean that all up. Found a couple bolts. Got it back together. It sparked before, it should spark again. Now, if it does spark, I'm going to see if it'll run. If it does run, I will change that out. This is just a test and see if the engine's going to run with all the junk that was down in there. Actually, I'm gonna drain all the oil out of it. Some of it came out when I pulled that cover. I'm gonna drain all the oil out. Hopefully nothing actually got down in there. I mean, I found all this stuff. There's pieces of there's the entire bolt, some pieces of the stator. But see if it'll spark. Oh yeah, good spark too. Alright, well, I'm gonna drain that oil, refill it with new, and then we'll see if it'll pop over. Alright, got the oil changed out of it, put 2 fresh quarts in it. I ran the old stuff coming out of there through that rag, and it looked actually like pretty clean oil. There was nothing in it. So we'll see, we'll double check our spark. Make sure we still have it. Alright, a little shot of 2-cycle, because that's what's in here. Or a whole bunch. Shoo. What's up with that? If it pops off from this, then we'll pull the carb and see if there's anything we can do with that. Alright, let's see what it does. Ooh. Pretty good flame out the old tailpipe. But it ran. Alright, well, I'll pull that carb, see if there's any saving it or making it work. I don't know. We'll see. Cleaned the carb. Get the air screw all set. I don't know how well it's going to work. The throttle cable's a little janky on this one, but we'll see if it'll idle. There we go. a choke. There's no choke on it at all. Somebody's got it plugged off right here. So. Interesting. Well, it runs. Not that great. Pretty sure if I take the carb off from the Suzuki and throw it on here, it'll probably run pretty good. And I might just try that. Because if this runs good, there's, you know, no oil leaking out of it. I'm going to throw this motor into that four-wheeler. We shall see. Alright, I robbed the carburetor and gas tank and choke hookup off from the Suzuki. So let's see what it does now. There's no air filter. The Suzuki's set up for a K&N, so that won't fit on here, but I don't know if the missing air filter is gonna be an issue or not. Choke. I think it needs an air filter. Definitely got to fix the valve gasket, valve cover gasket, but it does run. It doesn't sound too bad. A little closer. Well, the plan's going to be, since this doesn't run the greatest, it runs, but it cuts out. I think it might be that busted up stator. So I'm going to pull the stator from the Suzuki. We're going to plug it in here. I'm also going to fix the oil leak on that valve cover. Just pull it apart, clean it up, goop it, put it back on, and use I think 1 or 2 of the bolts and seals from that valve cover. So that way I know it leaks no oil. And see what it does. If it doesn't run any better with that, I might switch out the air box and the muffler and see what that does. If that makes no difference, then I'll just tear this motor down, buy a gasket kit, and use the case out of this to fix that one, because that one does run good. Those bolts are all different lengths, so you're going to want to line them up. I started here, I went clockwise. I forget that one every time. So a little tap, it ought to come right off. If it don't, it just needs a little persuasion. There we go. Now you just gotta work it a little bit. There she goes. Alright, there's that one. Yeah, I'm kind of thinking that might be the issue. I'm hoping. If it's not, then that's one damn good stator. Alright, so I cleaned all the gasket off, put a little goop on it because I don't have a new one. Just because I don't want it to leak. And if it works, I can order a gasket and change it back out. Should have pulled the shifter off, would have made it a lot easier. Boy, I hate it. Just like that. And what I do, I've got my bolts all lined up, so I started with this one right here. So then I just go right back around in order, just like I took them out. Okay, we're all hooked up, ready to go. Got the wires plugged in. I pulled the valve cover off, cleaned it, resealed it, put a little bit of goop all the way around it, tightened it back down, used a couple of the seals off from the valve cover on the Suzuki. Stator's all, yeah, gas tank's on, everything's hooked back up as far as I can tell. So let's see what it'll do now. Oh, we're not in neutral. There we go. Alright. Chokes on. quite well. Happy with that. Freaking clean light shop. Absolute mess. So, seen some of the smoke coming off, and that was just oil burning off the pipe from yesterday. I don't see it leaking anywhere currently. I'll clean it up some more. I'm gonna let it cool off, double check the oil, and start it up again. I see it was smoking out the tailpipe pretty good, but I also ran a bunch of 40 to 1 two-stroke oil. I ran a bunch of 40 to 1 two-stroke gasoline through it because that's all I had. I need to go get some gas, and had some chainsaw gas kicking around, and it doesn't hurt it anyways. I mean, run a little bit of oil in the cylinder, because who knows how long this thing's been sitting. I'm gonna assume it's been sitting a long time, but it sounds really good. It starts really good, and I'm happy with it. Okay, there it is. Runs great, starts up great. It's not leaking a drop of oil. I parked it on a semi-clean spot on the floor. As you can see, there's a little bit of oil from before up there. A few drips back there, but there's a little bit of oil right here where I pulled the cover. But I don't see any oil leaks. Even the cylinder or the valve cover isn't leaking, other than what was already on it. There's nothing blowing out on the pipe. It was smoking a little bit when I first got it running, but I believe that was just from the 2-cycle gas that I was using before, even though I had this hooked up. Now it doesn't smoke a drop, so probably what I'll do is let it cool right off and get stone cold, and I'll start it up again just to be sure that it's not smoking, because while the motor's out, if I need to do rings or valve seals or anything like that, that would be the time to do it. A lot easier to do it while it's out. I can put it right on the bench. But now I'm going to clean up all my tools and my mess and start taking that motor out. I'm going to take it out. We're going to throw it in the Suzuki, and that'll be good to go.